Walk into any gym-goer's kitchen, and you'll probably find more tubs of protein powder than actual food. We've turned protein into the one nutrient nobody questions. More is just always better, right? Bigger shake, bigger gains. Except that's not really what the research says. There's a real number where protein stops helping you build muscle, and a lot of people are eating and supplementing way past it without anything extra to show for it. Today, I'm putting more protein equals more muscle up against the actual studies, how much you really need, why the number is lower than the supplement industry wants you to think, and where the extra protein you're eating is actually going. Let's get into it. Every time you train, you create small amounts of muscle protein breakdown. Your body responds by rebuilding. And if you give it enough raw material and enough stimulus, it rebuilds a little bit bigger than before. That raw material is protein, broken down into amino acids. Here's where most confusion starts. The official RDA for protein is about 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. But that number was never designed to maximize muscle growth. It's the minimum intake to avoid deficiency in a mostly sedentary person. Using it to plan a training diet is like using the speed limit for a school zone to plan your highway road trip. Plain English, the protein number you've probably seen on a nutrition label isn't a how much to build muscle number. It's more of a how much to not get sick number. Different question, different answer. So, if 0.8 isn't it, what is? Several research teams have pooled the actual training studies to find out, and they keep landing in the same place. A meta-analysis combining 49 separate resistance training studies found that higher protein intake did increase muscle gains and strength, but the benefit leveled off at around 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. Past that point, eating more protein produced no measurable extra muscle in the average trainee. A separate dose-response analysis found the same pattern from a different angle. Gains in lean mass tracked upward with protein intake, then flattened, with the strongest responders clustering in a comparable range, roughly 1.5 to 1.6 grams per kilogram per day, for younger adults training with resistance. The ISSN's own position lands in the same neighborhood, recommending 1.4 to 2.0 grams per kilogram per day for people strength training to build muscle. A range, not a more is always more curve. Plain English, for most people training seriously, somewhere around 1.6 grams per kilogram per day, call it roughly 0.7 to 0.8 grams per pound, captures essentially all of the muscle building benefit protein has to offer. A 180-pound lifter is looking at about 130 grams a day, not 300. Total daily protein isn't the whole story. When you eat matters too, because your body can only meaningfully use so much at once for building muscle. Each meal needs roughly 2 to 3 grams of the amino acid leucine to fully switch on the muscle-building machinery. That's the leucine threshold. For most people, that works out to somewhere around 0.4 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight per meal, across 3 to 4 meals a day. So cramming your entire daily total into one dinner doesn't get you the same results as spreading it out, because the machinery that uses protein to build muscle isn't running 24 hours a day at full blast. It responds to repeated doses. This is also where the old anabolic window, you have 30 minutes after your workout or you've wasted it, idea falls apart. The actual research shows that window is much wider than people think, closer to a matter of hours, not minutes, as long as your total daily intake and distribution are solid. A protein shake doesn't need to be chugged in the gym parking lot. What matters more is getting a reasonable dose of protein into 3 to 4 meals across your day, not nailing some imaginary 30-minute timer. If the benefit plateaus around 1.6 grams per kilogram, why do so many lifters and a lot of supplement marketing push double or even triple that? Partly because more protein, more muscle is a simple story, and simple stories sell shakes. To be fair to the high-protein crowd, eating well past 1.6 grams per kilogram doesn't appear to be harmful for healthy people. A year-long crossover study on resistance-trained men eating roughly 2.5 to 3.3 kilograms per day, well above the plateau point, found no negative effects on kidney function, blood lipids, or liver markers compared to their normal diet, and no increase in fat mass despite the extra calories. So extra protein generally isn't dangerous. It's just not doing what people think that it's doing. Those extra grams mostly get used for energy or stored, the same as any other excess calories. They're not turning into bonus muscle tissue once you've already passed the point your body can use that for that purpose. Plain English, eating extra protein past the plateau probably won't hurt you. It also won't help you that much. You're just paying gym supplement prices for what your body is going to treat like regular old calories. Because this channel runs on evidence, not vibes, the fine print. And it cuts both ways here. 1. 1.6 grams per kilogram is a population-level plateau, not a hard ceiling for every individual. Some people, especially very advanced or very large trainees, may see modest benefits a bit above that range. The plateau is where most of the curve flattens, not a cliff everyone falls off of at the exact same number. 2. If you're in a calorie deficit, your protein target should go up, not down. When you're losing weight, higher protein helps protect the muscle from being broken down for energy. Research on lean, trained individuals dieting found benefits up to roughly 2.3 to 3.1 grams per kilogram of fat-free mass, noticeably higher than the maintenance or muscle gain target. Cutting and bulking aren't the same question. 3. Whole food protein and supplemental protein aren't functionally different once you hit your number. Protein powder is a convenience tool for hitting a target, not a special category of muscle-building magic. If you can comfortably hit your 1.6 grams per kilogram from chicken, eggs, yogurt, and beans, a $50 tub of powder isn't doing anything those foods aren't. 4. And most important, these targets describe averages from group data, not a guarantee for your training history, body size, or goals. Bigger, leaner, more advanced trainees often sit toward the higher end of the 1.4 to 2.0 range. Smaller or less advanced trainees often do fine near the lower end. Use the range. Don't worship the single number. I'd rather you hit a sensible range consistently than chase a number some supplement ad invented. So here's the practical version of all this. Target roughly 1.6 to 2.2 grams per kilogram of body weight per day if you're training for muscle and not in a calorie deficit. That's the range where the actual benefit lives. Spread it across 3 to 4 meals, aiming for somewhere around 0.4 grams per kilogram per meal instead of front or backloading it into one sitting. Bump it higher if you're cutting, closer to 2.3 or 3.1 grams per kilogram of fat-free mass to protect muscle while losing fat. Stop worshiping the post-workout window. Total daily intake and consistent distribution matter far more than chugging a shake within 30 minutes of your last rep. Use supplements for convenience, not magic. If whole food gets you to your number, that's just as good, maybe even better, and usually cheaper. That's the actual scoreboard. The extra scoops past your number were never on it. So, what's the verdict on protein? Well, based on the evidence, protein is essential for building muscle, but the benefit plateaus around 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight per day for most people, with a sensible range of roughly 1.4 to 2.2 grams per kilogram depending on your situation, higher if you're cutting. Eating well beyond that range generally isn't harmful, but it also isn't building you extra muscle. It's just really expensive calories. Hit your number, spread it across your meals, and stop letting the supplement aisle see your targets for you. Next time, does cardio actually kill your gains? Or is it don't run, it'll eat your muscle, another myth that doesn't hold up against the research? If you'd rather train from evidence than from hype, subscribe. This is Proof of Reps, and I'll see you in the next one.